All right. All right. So I'm just gonna get just straight jump onto this. So basically, I'm just making this that I wanted to do this for a long time. I think I'm gonna be making it a series and things like that. But basically, this is a part one of my journey, my life, and I just hope that many people who do come across this will be able to be helped by it. Get some understanding and stuff like that. Basically, my name is Asher Kirkland. So I'm just telling you my story. So basically, I'm jumping right into it. So basically, um, I was just like, I remember basically when I was 2 years old and the things that I'll get into, like when I was two, all the way up to elementary school, because that's a different story. But basically, um, my mother and my father was military. They were in the military when I was young. They was always being they always been how do you say departed. They always had to call them to go to Afghanistan and stuff like that. So I always been with my mom. And then when she came back to America, and that I stayed with her, my dad would go back to Afghanistan as well. And it's swapped. So basically, being in everybody who's been in the military, parents who are in the military, and you're a child, you tend to travel to different schools and stuff. That's what I dealt with beforehand. I couldn't stay at least almost 6 months in school before I had to go to a different school. And we all know that every time we met new people, new friends, we tend to have to move and make new friends. And after a while, it gets dull, meaningless. So you just stay to yourself, basically. I've dealt with that. Um, School was more of an issue because of I was hard making friends due to too much moving around, and each school taught differently. So, you know, I go to Michigan, I go to school there, then I come to Texas, go to school in Texas, and then I transferred in with my mom. Then we go to Virginia, then we go to Virginia. So it's like each school place that I went to, they taught different. They taught different. In some school, lessons was had very farther than some schools. So when I go to school, some will be very behind. Like their spacing is different. So I'll be confused and stuff. People thought I was dumb and stuff like that. I also thought I was slow and stuff. And when I was in school, I used to be in extra classes that helped you a bit more, basically to get you to catch up to the other students in the classrooms and stuff like that. Every school I've been to since middle school, but in high school was different. Um, so yeah, school life was different. It was very difficult. It was very difficult. Um, but basically, all the stuff happened on my dad's side of the family. So on my dad's side of the family, I have an auntie, my grandma, I have three cousins. And I'm not gonna say their names in this video, uh, you know, just to keep their life private. But I've made a book that soon I'm gonna post. I made a book, and that's gonna be more in detail. So that's gonna come out soon. But yeah, basically, when I go to Michigan with my dad, I stay with my grandma. Um, so it'd be my grandma and they're girls. So my two cousins, they're girls, and I'm the only boy. So it all started when I was young, first time meeting them and stuff like that, and we all get to know each other and stuff like that. Kids, we grow up, we tend to learn each other and stuff like that, and have fun. But growing up, being with them was very difficult in my life because of they were girls. I was the only boy, so it was very tough, difficult for me to fit in and be something in common. Um, but then I experienced a lot of ups and downs at a very young age, and I've been there in Michigan. I went to Iowa Elementary School all the way up to fourth grade. So I was there when I was up to I was 11. No, I was 6 years old. Up to when I was six, I stayed with them, and then I used to move back with my mom and my dad, back and forth, But in this time right here, I was with I moved to my dad. But the thing about it is that um, I was supposed to be with my dad, but my dad was stationed in Afghanistan. So I was with my grandma and my two cousins, and it was just me. Um, Soon growing up with them, um, they I experienced more sadness. I tend to grow these toxic traits. The house was very toxic. Indeed, it was. I didn't understand it until now. So basically, how it would be is that my oldest cousin, she was the oldest. I'm the second oldest, and my third cousin is the third oldest. So let's get my oldest cousin is T, and me, the second oldest, and my youngest cousin was M. Her name is M. So T and M. All right, they're my cousins. So basically, um, T and M, we're a year apart. So I'm now 21. So she will just now 21. So the thing about it is that me and M was the closest because of T was, her going through her phase, high school, or she was going through her phase because she was the oldest. She was basically a teenager, basically. And what happened a lot is that I used to be bullied by them a lot. So it's like M, you know, every time I have something cool, my mom always, when she was in Afghanistan, my mom always uh, send me gifts and stuff like that. They would get jealous, and then, M would start to, play these traits of like, oh, you don't love me, you don't care for me, you don't love me at all. Then it'd be like, if you let me have, like, say my mom bring me toys and candies and treats like that. But she'd be like, oh, if you let me get some of your snacks, then I'll be your best friend and stuff like that. I never really understood that, so I just still, she could be nice to me because normally they will always bully me and stuff like that, to the point that I get really down and I cry myself to sleep, but they don't care. Most of them like to see me be in pain a lot. I tend to be their scapegoat, meaning as that, I always have to ask. They was always scared to ask for something, like if we wanted chips or ice cream, anything that we came up that we wanted. I was always the one who had to ask, and if I didn't ask, then I was a wimp, then I was lame, then I was a loser, then they're never gonna talk to me and stuff like that. Those things build up to me to where I became a people pleaser, just to please my cousins so they can talk to me and stuff. That's what I had to deal with. So I go to ask grandma and stuff, and they be celebrating and stuff because, even though sometimes grandma will always say yes to me, because she deep down she knew that they were scared to ask her, so they asked me, and then when they get what they want, then they'd be like, "Oh, you're the best cousin ever." Those stuff, fake stuff, just to boost you up, just to know. And it's like basically I was being used growing up when I was trying to care for them, love for them. I couldn't never find that because it was always like an exchange. Always an exchange. We always roasting each other. It's like sometimes I could just be alone playing my game system and stuff like that. Then they would come and ask, and I'll be like, no. Then they want to bully me and stuff like that. Things that I had, that I already had, they wanted. Like, I had a Xbox 360. I like to play my games a lot. I like to be alone and play my games because they are over there, watching TV or something. They never really want to bother me until they see something they like that I have. Basically, that's what I'm. This is just how it is growing up, and it was very tough for me because every time I try to tell, like, they were here bullying me and stuff like that. My grandma would be like, defend yourself, and stuff like that. But then when I defend myself, then she gets mad at me defending myself. I know you might thinking like, what? Yes, she gets mad at me defending myself because she knows deep down that I was stronger than both of them. Because grandma always sometimes see, they jump me. Yeah, they do. But I always win though. Like they always pile on top of me, and then I always get up and lift them up and throw them off of me and get on top of my oldest cousin T, and I just pin her down while M is punching me and stuff because she couldn't get me off of her and stuff like that. But they always used to, emotionally damage me. They always use me for something to their benefits, and if I don't comply, then they will bully me. And when they bully me, then they will tend to say, because there's some times that um, we have bad grades sometimes. We have bad grades, like bad grades or things that I did, like bad grades, or I broke something. They will, if I comply to them, they will not tell on me for the things that I've done until things comply. But when things, if I stand up for myself and I say no, then they go run off and tell the things that I did. And these things be like a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 weeks ago. All the things they try to tell me, all because I'm applying to them. And if I don't, then they want to throw me under the bus. And, but when I try to tell on them, because they have done some very deep, hurtful things to me, but grandma did never. She may yell at them, but they will still do it. But keep in mind, when I defend myself, I will always get in trouble. My cousin M and I will go to school. Um, we always come back home, and she always get grandma calls us in the room because she said that she gets a phone call from our bus driver, but she get a call home from the school, and then she be bad at school, and she get a call home to grandma. Grandma picks up. Then we have to ride the bus back home. My cousin M is bad. She was bad when she was young. She was young. She was bad. Then you know, um, I'm trying to fit in with other kids because they always bullied me and stuff. They never show me love or anything unless I comply to their needs, to their will. That's what I dealt with. We come home, and now the bus driver called my grandma on Misa for the things she did. So it comes to that point that uh, I told M, stop doing these things, stop because you're going to get in trouble, right? But she doesn't listen to me. But now when she gets in trouble, grandma yells at her, but she really don't punish her. She just yell at her, slap on the wrist and get out of here basically. But she would get upset at me because didn't I didn't help her avoid her to get in basically I didn't try my hard enough to get her out of trouble. So anything she does, like on the bus, she will always stand up on the bus, always yelling across the bus, and the bus driver said, "Don't do these things." They start like me says, "Oh, I said her name," like say, sit down," and stuff like that. But I tell her to sit down and stuff like that, but then she doesn't listen, and then she get a phone call at home about what she did on the bus, and then Misa would get in trouble for what she did, but then I get in trouble because I didn't tell her to sit down and stuff like that. So I always has to be. I'm basically, you know, I was the black sheep. I was always growing up to be the black sheep around them in that family dynamic. I never understood it until growing up and realizing and understanding it. So it was very, hold on. It was very emotional in that state because of, every time we come home, even on those days that she didn't get in trouble, I didn't get in trouble or anything like that, we was still, it's the household was so toxic. Even you walking in the house, it always feels like something is wrong. Something is always going to happen. Like something just has to happen. Any day around them, a day cannot be normal until something tragic happens. I am not over exaggerating or something. I know for some of y'all, many people will understand like being around people who has bad intentions or things who are toxic or in a toxic environment, relationship, anything that is toxic, you understand that your day be normal, but around them, always something always happens. Something always has to happen for it to be a normal day, because it wouldn't be a normal day until something happens. But it's only be in no situation where you live at. You can't move. So, um, those are the things that when I first met them, all the way till I was 6 years old, it was all about them, them. If they didn't get, they wanted my things. They wanted my things while they had their things. But if I say no and stand up, they go tell, and then they gang up on me, and then grandma and the other adults in the family would know, and they would clown on me because I don't defend myself. But when I defend myself, I'm the bad guy. You see what I'm going? This is the entire of 2 to 6. So this is the first part when I was 2 to 6 years old. This is the first part. But yeah, so this is the part 1 right here series. But that's what I was dealing with, and that's how I started to act out of my character. I started to act out my character, always being people pleaser. That's how in my life, people pleasing became a thing, because of it came from the home. I was always the black sheep, the black goat, you say, because I get in trouble because of my cousins gets in trouble for something they do. Instead of they get yelled at and get punished, but I have to get thrown in there, even if I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing, but I would have to get in trouble because I didn't step up, even though I told them that I did. But it was never good enough. See, when it comes to me, it's never good enough. My grandma will always yell at me. There's times that we get in trouble, but there's times that, it always comes to the point that, if, say, this always happens. It happens a lot. So then, if my oldest cousin T gets in trouble, she will call M and me in the room. She will start yelling at her for what she did. And then she will get on us, yelling at us for not either stopping her or telling her not to do it. But we don't be in the room what she be doing, or we don't care. We're not paying attention because we're doing our own thing, yeah? She will yell at us. So she will make us watch her beating T, and we would have to sit there and watch, and no one likes to sit there and watch. They force us to watch one of us get a whooping, basically. That's how the household was. We was forced to watch them get a whooping, and sometimes we would have to take turns. There's sometimes we had to make sacrifices, and the sacrifices that T gets in trouble, but she needs to get a whooping, we will have to force watch. But she said, no, I don't want to get a whooping. I don't want to get a whooping. So because she don't want to get a whooping, grandma will look at M or me and say, who's going to take the punishment for T? That's how the thing goes. You want to know something? Me and M had to pick who was going to take the punishment for T, right? Most of the time, I will have to take the punishment because M will always back up. And then they just be like, well, I guess I got to be the one to take it, even if I didn't do anything. So now I get a whooping. Now I'm upset because, one, I didn't do anything. And then because T didn't want to get a whooping, now I had to take it. That's how my life was, being with them at a young age. But this is for part 1, though. Part 1 into this. And there's times when M gets a whooping, she'll get yelled at, but then I would get yelled at. Then there was a time that she get a punishment, right? In punishment, she was supposed to get a whooping. And you already know where we're going for this. She don't want the whooping, and guess what she do? Guess what my grandma decides to do? And in this part, I'm gonna throw my uncle in. Uncle B. I'm not gonna say his full name. Uncle B normally stays with grandma with us, so he's always gone out far, like Indiana, Ohio, place like that, because he works on factories and stuff like that. So he will come and stay because he lives with us, but he always goes somewhere and have houses there where he works at. Sometimes when he punish us, how he punish us is that we have to be in push-up positions. We have to be in push-up positions. So when he's here to punish us, well, it's the same thing. he punished me. I said again saying that. M punish her, but she doesn't comply. So now T and me have to come in the same room with her, and we all have to get down in a push-up position to take her punishment. How he does it is that M don't have to do the punishment, so she sits down on the chair, and me and T has to get on our hand in a push-up position. And as Uncle B said, look, you see what you making them do? He said, you making them to take your punishment. Get down so you can take your own punishment. But she doesn't comply. So me and T is in a push-up position, and if our arms gets weak and we fall down and can't get back up, he will count like you got 3 seconds. Even if you don't, then sometimes we will have to be back in that position, or we get a whooping. But sometimes he doesn't really whoop us like that. It's rare, but most of the time we have to get on the wall. We have to get on the wall. I don't know if you can see me, but we have to like squat on the wall. We have to squat and be at a 90-degree angle. Those stuff hurts. So that's how he punishes us. He doesn't sometimes. It's rare when he whoops us, but when he punishes us, we work. It's like a physical workout. Knees 90-degree angle. We gotta hold that. Me and T had to do that, and until M understood her punishment. But when they get in trouble, I have to take their punishment. I have to get a whooping. I have to do these physical workouts. So knowing that I get bullied by them, I had to become a people pleaser to please them, because I have no friends. I have no one to talk to, you know? It's just like that. And you may want to say, why didn't you don't get friends and find out? But you have to understand, because I go to different schools so many times, I don't know how to make friends, you know? My grandma always instructed us to always take care of one another, take care of each other. So I try to do that, you know? I always have to be the one to be blamed for their mistakes, for their troubles. I have to take their whoopings. I have to take their punishments. I have to do all these things, even if I didn't do anything wrong. I get emotionally abused by them, and sometimes by my grandma, because most of the time when I try to tell her my problems, she don't really take it seriously. But if they come and tell on me, she takes it seriously, you know. And I've been a black sheep, a black goat, and you're gonna hear more in other parts. And this is just part one. But this is the part one. As you listen to this, it's the reason why this is the base format, basically. And this is how to these other parts it's going to be led. So now you hear this, you will understand from my other parts of how it began to, you see, start to unfold itself and stuff like that. So yeah, this is just the story of my background in the beginning, how my mother, my father was once in the military in the story, and they would always go to Afghanistan and back. I used to go stay with my dad and my mom, back and forth, all these different schools and stuff like that. So this is how, when my mom went to Afghanistan, I had to go stay with my dad, but basically with my grandma. So, and this is where the story begins, basically. So I hope y'all stay tuned to these things, to this story, this series and stuff, and hope that you get a general understanding. My name is Asher Kirkland once again, and this is my story, my life story, basically, and how I'm doing today, basically. So I hope y'all stay tuned. Signing out.